Yo, Dog Pack, we finally got our receiver, man, and I'm super pumped to have Elijah Moore in the land. Welcome to the land, brother, and I want my brothers to tell me what's going on. It's Dawgs podcast time. Let's kick this off.
Welcome to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, John Nye, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs podcast, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. As you can see, not in the studio today. I've been sick all week. Please bear with me. I'm going to try to get through this without hacking up a lung or sounding like Kermit the Frog because I'm so congested. Justin's been dealing with sick kids all week, so we decided not to risk it, and we're just going to come to you virtual. One day we'll all be back in the studio together. I promise it's happening. We all still like each other. So we'll be back in the studio together one day. But until then, we got a fun episode for you lined up. The Browns, as you heard in our intro, finally made a move for a wide receiver, picking up Elijah Moore. Before we get into it, though, remember, if you want to leave us a voicemail, head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail, the drop-down menu. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss an episode. You can also find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google. So we're pretty much everywhere. No excuse not to listen to the Dawgs. Lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com. Become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. You get an extra episode every week. You get access to the private Discord. Especially right now during free agency period, the Discord is constantly going with NFL news, Browns news. Everybody's just super hyped for the offseason right now. I mean, this is kind of like the Browns, this is when it's more exciting to be a Browns fan, is during the offseason. So this is a great time to be a part of the Dog Pack. So if that's something you're interested in, you want to hang out with us more, you want to play fantasy football once football season rolls around, jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member. So, like I mentioned in the open 10 seconds ago, Browns finally made a move for a wide receiver, trading the pick number 42, and they got Elijah Moore, receiver from the Jets, and pick number 74, if I'm not correct, right?
Correct.
Okay, I didn't do a ton of research on that, but everything else I'm an expert on, I swear. So, I think it's a great move. I know Justin and Josh put out a quick video yesterday, so I'll go to John first. What are your thoughts? I know a lot of people were starting to hit the panic button. There was talks of it being Jerry Jeudy. I think Josh even wanted us to trade Nick Chubb for him, according to Twitter.
Thought so.
So, there's a lot of crazy talk going on out there about us bringing in a wide receiver. So where do you stand, John? Do you like the pick? Do you like the trade? Should we have stayed at 42 and drafted a receiver? Should we have pushed harder for Jeudy?
I like the trade. I wasn't sold on Jeudy. I don't really know why, but I like this trade. There's a few things I like about it. First of all, he's 22 years old, which that's real solid. And we've got him for $1.4 million this year and $1.8 next year. So I don't feel like at that pick number 42, I was excited to see what we took with it. But I mean, we could always pick a bust. We probably would have, honestly. So I think it was kind of a no-brainer. You're not getting a receiver that good for that price, really, anywhere else. So I like the trade. I'm excited to see how he fits in the offense. I think he's going to get a lot of play time and make a pretty big difference. I mean, he gets open, he's fast, he's got good hands. So I'm excited about it.
He doesn't just have good hands, he's got great hands. I think he has, 2 drops in his NFL career? 3, and I think he was only 2 in all of college or something. I saw something crazy like that. He's at 4.3, 2 speed, I'm pretty sure. And even some people on our Patreon, which again, we love all those guys, but we don't always agree on all things that the Browns do. That's what makes it fun. Some of them were disappointed that we gave up 42 to go get Elijah Moore when they said we could have pushed harder to get a future number 1 in Jerry Jeudy. So that's the kind of thing I wanted to address first. One, the asking price for Jerry Jeudy immediately turned me off of ever wanting Jerry Jeudy. A number 1 or 42 and a player? Give me a break for what? Because he was good in college? You know what I mean? Like he's been a solid pro, but you would have thought he was Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs, the way people were talking. Like, give me a break. Number one, I wanted no part of that. If we would have got him for the 42nd pick and no players, okay, then maybe I would have been okay with that. Come on, a 42 and a player where we're number one for a guy who has not done that much in the league. Give me a break. Two, I think Elijah Moore is the exact kind of wide receiver we needed to add to the offense. A guy with an insane amount of speed. He's Amari Cooper route running type ability. Okay, he's a great route runner, which is perfect in Stefanski's precision-based passing attack. He's got 4.32 speed. I mean, to me, you got Amari Cooper, you got DPJ, you got Njoku. Some people said you traded for this guy. We need playmakers. Well, one, what was a huge knock on Baker Mayfield? We said, what does he need an all-pro at every position around him to be good? You're not going to have a franchise quarterback like Deshaun and have 4 all-pro wide receivers. It's not going to happen, okay? The Bengals aren't going to have all their receivers in a year or two, trust me. When they're all off the rookie deals, they'll have one. So you got Amari Cooper, you've got David Njoku, you've got Nick Chubb. You've surrounded Deshaun with playmakers. They just might not all be wide receivers. Okay, so he's got plenty of weapons around him. Elijah Moore is the kind of guy who's going to feast with Deshaun Watson. Look what Will Fuller did. I know Will Fuller's more of just a straight line speed guy, but he was stashed on fantasy rosters for 3 more years just because of the season he had with Deshaun Watson. Elijah Moore is going to feast with this guy. He's going to be open all the time. To me, it was the perfect trade. And this was actually commented on our YouTube. I forget who said it, but I wanted to, so I'm not taking the credit for thinking of this. It was somebody in our comment section. Do you realize Andrew Berry got Elijah Moore and Amari Cooper in a 3rd round pick? We got all that for a 2nd and a 5th.
Yeah.
That's highway robbery.
That's insane.
And when you think about it like that, that is highway robbery.
And the 5th was a swap, bro. It wasn't even like we gave him a 5th. It was a 5th swap. We got to hit back. You know what I mean?
Like, it is what he's done the last couple of years. I won't tolerate any more Andrew Berry slander. I don't understand it. I don't get it one bit. It's crazy to me. The people are out there saying he doesn't. My favorite thing is how many stars has he gotten in the 3rd round or later? Show me the GM who's just hitting on every pick in the 4th, 5th, and 6th. That guy doesn't exist. They all want John Dorsey back. Guess what? He took Baker number 1 over Josh Allen and hired Freddie Kitchens. So give me a break with that. Andrew Berry has loaded this team not with just talent, but talent that fits what the Browns want to do. He's hitting it out of the park, in my opinion.
Me and Josh were talking about that because Josh kind of said, what is the success rate on picks? Because if you look at his complete resume, there's some duds. And I'm talking like there's high duds. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like, oh, he missed in the 4th. Like, Jed Wills is probably a bust.
He's not a bust.
You don't think he is on his way to being a bust?
No, he's a starter. He might not be a Hall of Famer, but he's a starter. He started most of the games in his career since he was a rookie. I don't think you can call that a bust. Now, listen, I don't love his effort. He started at left tackle for a team that is considered to have a top 3 offensive lineman since he was a rookie. To me, a bust is Cam Irving. A guy, a guy who can't get on the field. I don't think Jen Wills might not be living up to the Billy. Where would we take him at
10? 110. 110.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe he's not Tristan Wirfs, but he's better than Greg Robinson.
Yeah,
so I can't call him a bust. He might not be a Hall of Famer or an All Pro right now, but I'm not going to call that a miss. The biggest thing you can say is we could have had worse. I'll listen to that argument.
Okay.
You guys?
I just think.
Go ahead, Justin.
With the picks, like you kind of started saying about it, and we kind of joked around about it yesterday. I don't really think the picks really matter. If we're going to go for it, I don't really care about the picks. And then the idea that we're for sure going to get a guaranteed number one at 42 is not realistic. It's not, especially if you're the Cleveland Browns. And historically, if you look back at what we've done over the last 20, 30 years, that's definitely not going to happen. And I don't want to say it's definitely not going to happen, but if history proceeds to go how it always has, that's not going to work out. You know what I mean?
So I want to talk about draft picks and free agency and perceived value. Let's use that. I know we have a voicemail who's kind of touching on this subject. Let's play that voicemail and then we can kind of talk about that.
Okay, here's voicemail from Phil.
Hey guys, it's Phil. So I just want to give a quick thought on free agency. I haven't called in for a while, so I figured I would. I'm just seeing a lot of fans complaining about how us giving away draft picks for players, and we are in win now mode. The top picks aren't going to help us win now. We're so used to picking in the top 10 of the draft, and we're going to draft the next player that's going to save the Browns, And when we signed Watson, that put us all in. We gave him $230 million to win now. So stop piling draft picks or drafting a bunch of rookies ain't going to put us over the top to where we want to go. We got to get veteran players in here to win now. That's why I like the Moore trade. A veteran player, good hands, fast, get him in there. Let's go with it. I just think fans are so used to not being in win now mode because usually the Browns are in rebuilding mode constantly. So something we got to get used to. It's going to be a wild ride. Just buckle up, boys. Here we go. Go Brownies.
So the picks thing it's crazy to me. First of all, we've had high draft picks my entire life. It's gotten just absolutely nothing. It's a crapshoot. The New England Patriots were the dynasty for 20 years. Look how crappy they draft. You know what I mean?
Especially a wide receiver.
Yeah, I guess they draft well at some things. They find that diamond in the rough. But like at playmaker, they can't draft a wide receiver unless Josh found N'Keal Harry. So the draft is such a crapshoot. I'd much rather have proven talent. Second of all, we did the Mad Dog Awards this year, and we always give out Rookie of the Year. Rookies had such a low impact on even last year's team that went under 500. We had a hard time putting that category together.
We had to combine. We used to do offense and defense. We had to put it just total rookies.
And that's because this team's got so much talent. Now you could call it veteran talent. Rookies aren't you're not picking somebody at 42 to just jump on this team and be a day one starter.
Yes.
That's probably not happening. Maybe if we picked it 4, but we didn't. Okay. Right. And then this mortgaging the future thing is crazy to me. Next year is the last year that we don't have a first round draft pick. And then we're right back to having a first round draft pick.
Yep.
Correct?
Yeah.
Next year is the last pick that we gave away for Deshaun.
Right.
Yeah.
So it didn't even cost us, because we gave up the current year's first round draft pick, it didn't even cost us like 3 years of picks. It's only going to be 2 years and we're right back in the first round. Well, we don't need a first round draft pick this year, next year, hopefully, because it's going to hopefully be in the late 20s, or if we're lucky, 32. Knock on wood, hopefully one day in my life. It's the picks are irrelevant.
Yeah. If you think about it, we kind of just got a first round draft pick. Moore is basically a first round pick. I know he wasn't, but when you're second or third pick in the second round, that's first round talent.
He was touted. Yeah, touted as first round talent. I've seen a lot of people that are anti this move and wanted to stay at 42 are saying, why didn't we stay at 42 and take Zay Flowers? I don't know how much you guys have read or listened to anything about these rookie wide receivers in the draft classes. Zay Flowers isn't going to be there at 42.
No, hell no.
So I see that on a lot of people saying that, and I just think he wouldn't have been there. We got a guy that day one, like you said, Blake, we plug him in and he's ready to go.
Well, then Elijah Moore was an ascending player his rookie year.
Yes.
He battled some injuries, but still put up decent numbers for a rookie playing in an offensive system that was inept with a bad quarterback. And then his second year They just didn't throw him. It's like he wasn't on the field. Zach Wilson just wouldn't throw him the ball.
He still almost had 500 yards.
Yeah, and guys, we have a 1 and a 2. Okay, we were looking for a third wide receiver who could give us production. We weren't looking for a future Hall of Famer. For the value, it's like some people are like, well, what about when Amari leaves in a year or two? Well, I'll worry about that in a year or two. I want to win football games this year.
Mm-hmm. See, I don't know about you guys. Let me know what you think. I feel like Elijah Moore has he's young, like you said, John. He's 22. He's going to be 23 this season. I feel like he still has the potential in the right system, with the right coaching, the right growth. I think he has the potential and the talent to become a potential number 1 receiver in an offense. I do, because he's not strictly a slot receiver. He can bounce outside and play the outside receiver role.
Here's what a lot of these fans will do. They'll take they're going to look back on this year. They're going to look at the second round receiver who happens to be amazing. And they're going to say, that's who the Browns should have gotten instead of trading for Elijah Moore. But if they were the GM, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that's who they should pick. That kind of stuff happens a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, with the picks, you don't draft a guy and sign him to a lifelong contract. So even if we miss on a lot of picks, but even if we hit on all our picks, if we can't form some kind of winning culture, you're just going to leave. A lot of them, you know?
Yes.
So we've done a lot to change the culture, but I mean, if we were a 3-4 win team every year, do you think Garrett would have asked for a trade by now?
I just think he wouldn't have signed his extension. You just would have left him free agency.
Yeah, okay, or that, yeah. So, I mean, we went from, 1-15, 0-16 to winning 70 games, which isn't great, but it's, for Browns fans, it's pretty great. I would be focusing more on creating a winning culture, because like I said, even if you hit on your draft picks, they're going to leave it if you're a 3-win team.
Well, and to kind of just touch on that, the culture has been changed in Cleveland. Now, the wins might not have gotten to where we want them, but the fact that we're not happy with 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins, that's how you know the culture has changed, because the expectation has changed. We were 1-31. We cracked open beer coolers and we're chanting Baker Mayfield's name because we won 1 football game. Well, that's not the expectation anymore. You know what I mean? So the culture has been changed in Cleveland. Now, that's the foundational part of it. Now you got to build onto that by adding good players, smart players, good coaches, and then you build that up, and then you sprinkle in some rookies, some veteran free agents, and next thing you know, you start winning some football games. But it has to start at the bottom. I felt like, and I like John Dorsey for everything he did for the Browns, but he tried to build it from the top down. He was just throwing talent at the wall, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what stuck. Okay? And Andrew Berry is gone. You got to build a foundation first. And then once you get a strong foundation and you build it up, now you got your core, and now you just sprinkle things into it, and now football games, you'll start winning football games. So I think the culture in Cleveland has changed.
No, I agree. That's kind of what I was saying. I'm
just better at it. I know, John. It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just messing with it.
You are. Yeah, you just kind of made me forget what I was going to say. So.
There's only one thing left to do, John, is to win the whole goddamn thing.
This episode is brought to you by Omaha Steaks. Spring is in the air, and that can only mean one thing: spring grilling. The steak experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to spring into something delicious with their semi-annual sale. With 50% off site-wide, grab all your favorites like perfectly aged, tender steaks, ocean fresh seafood, juicy burgers, incredible air-chilled chicken, and decadent desserts. Plus, when you go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code DAWGS, D-A-W-G-S at checkout, you'll get an extra $30 off your order. It's the perfect way to get fired up and spring into something special. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com, use code DAWGS at checkout. Take advantage of this deal right now. Omaha Steaks is ready to ship your order right away, and you're going to want to hurry because 50% off site-wide is only happening for a limited time. So don't miss your chance to save big right now. Visit omahasteaks.com. Use code DAWGS, DAWGS, at checkout. Get that additional $30 off when you shop their semi-annual sale today. Minimum order may be required.
This episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Ready for the underdogs, the upsets, and the unbelievable action from DraftKings Sportsbook? The biggest tournament in college basketball is here. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on college hoops and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all customers can score a no-sweat bet during round 1 and 2 of the tournament. Go to the app, opt in, and place a no-sweat bet this weekend. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus bet back up to $10. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Sign up with code TPPN. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Win or lose, only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TPPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.
Well, hey, real quick, can I give you guys some of these Elijah Moore stats that I found today that
Absolutely
got me, even more excited about having him? So this is from playerprofiler.com. His target separation last year, which measures a receiver's average yards of separation from his assigned defender at the moment the pass arrives to him. So his target separation was 2.14 yards, 2.14. That was 12th overall in the NFL. Like, you think about name the top 10 receivers in the league or whatever. He was 12th in his target separation.
The last time the Browns had a receiver that was that open all the time, we were throwing the ball at the defender's back.
But you're right, to your point about Amari Cooper, and the route running is going to be absolutely insane between these two. So it said that he only caught 37 of his 65 targets last year, which was good for 56.9%. That was 171st in the NFL, 171. But that was because of Zach Wilson being absolute trash. His catchable target rate was 54.5%. That was 98th overall. That's the quarterback's fault. So
54.
Only 54
half the balls were catchable.
Yeah, only half the balls that he was throwing were catchable. So his true catch rate that they measured was 102.8%, which was 5th in the NFL. That shows that he actually caught more passes than he was supposed to based on how bad the targets were. That's impressive.
That's the kind of stuff you have to look at when you're looking at deals like this. Like, yes, the initial numbers might not jump off the stat page, but there's context to that and there's reasons behind it. And I mean, that's super. He caught more balls than what, the analytics say he should have been able to catch.
Correct. And like you said,
that's impressive.
Only 3 drops his entire career so far, over 2 years in the NFL, only 3 drops on 142 targets. He's very good. Especially when those targets are coming from Zach Wilson.
I'm so excited for the Browns offense this year. We've heard a lot of rumors that they're going to transition into a much more pass offense, and I can somewhat believe it because I think you see that in Stefanski's style anyways. I mean, there's times he likes to throw it around the yard a little bit. It's 80-mile-per-hour winds, and we're still chucking it around.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly fine with being like 60, even 70% pass, but that 30%, it's got to be all Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb can't get 8 to 10 carries a game. This guy's still got to get his 16 to 17 carries. Please, let's not be stupid at least.
Yeah, and we got to win those games too. No, Nick Chubb doesn't get his 20 carries.
I'd like to see Nick Chubb at least get 18 to 20 touches a game between rushes, a couple screen passes, swing passes, something like that. And then if we're throwing the ball, spreading it out, Deshaun's making plays with his legs, and we're cool. I mean, I just want the Browns to score points, really. But I think Nick Chubb's an important part of the offense, and we'd be stupid to just completely eliminate that part of the offense.
I agree.
I don't think we eliminate it at all. I think that honestly, it's just going to be that much more efficient. So we might not have to feed him such heavy volume to be able to get production, like large production out of Nick Chubb, because if what they're doing, like you said, with this passing offense, I believe it too, because Jordan Akins is a higher end receiving tight end. Like, they didn't bring him in here to be like a blocker. So I think that him with Njoku shows they want, good pass catching production out of that position. Elijah Moore, Mari Cooper, DPJ. We still have draft picks. I mean, we can still draft a receiver or two later in the draft. I'm sure they'll add a guy, maybe a couple, in free agency still. Not high-end guys, of course, but...
I mean, who knows, man? You're only literally putting $1.4 million into it. You just picked up, at least in my opinion, you just picked up a stud slot receiver. You literally, David Bell, it hurts me to say this, but he kind of is irrelevant now at this point. When you pick up Elijah Moore, to me, when I look at it. So if you want to go and take a swing at a proven guy, I mean, I know this sounds crazy and people might laugh, but if Odell wants to come here for $6 or $7 million,
I'm doing that. I'm
count me in. You know what I mean? You get that kind of. I mean, I know it. Just to me, that's the kind of things you could do. You could do that now.
You still got plenty of money. Like Elijah Moore is a good pickup, but like you said, we got a pick back for it. First of all, and like you said, we're only paying him $1 million, so it doesn't. We don't have to be done. I'm excited to see what we do. The Browns have quietly had a crazy good offseason. I think Dan Orlovsky said, if Deshaun Watson can play like he did in 2020, I think that was his last year playing, right? 2020. He said there's a sleeping giant in Cleveland because the pieces we've added to the defense, not just in players, but also in coaching.
Right.
And then Elijah Moore just fits this offensive system so well. If Deshaun can play well, again, it's a lot of ifs. And I don't want to be talking the big talk because I don't want to be the paper champions again. So, like Ravens fans, please don't come at me saying I'm predicting us to win 17 games this year. I'm not. I just think that if Deshaun plays well and we play smart and these guys play up to their ability, it could be a fun season for the Browns.
Browns are a playoff.
They got to go. They got to go out and do it.
We were a playoff team last year with a better defense. Our offense wasn't the problem, and the offense can take a major step forward, like you just said, under Deshaun Watson. So if we get that defense going this year, I mean, you're right. We really do have a good opportunity to do something, make some noise this year.
And this is a little off topic though, but the Steelers with Kenny Pickett, I'm just not worried about that. And I know that they're going to always be in it because it's the Steelers and it's Mike Tomlin. But I just don't know if they're a real threat. The Bengals, I know that I don't think they're going to have Joe Mixon. I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't think he plays there this year.
He's in some trouble. They lost their tight end, correct?
Yeah.
Lost their whole defense, it feels like.
Yes.
Secondary.
So I get they signed the left tackle, but the strength of that team last year was how underrated their defense was.
Right.
Until we played them the first time, nobody had scored in the second half against the Bengals. So that was the strength. That was a kind of an unsung hero of that team was their defense, and it's gone. So, and then who knows if we're going to get into this later. Baltimore probably not going to have a quarterback. They're going to have a great defense, but I don't know if they're going to score any points. So if there's ever a year where the division's out there to go get, this is the year to do. This is looking like this is the year to try to go do it.
I agree 100%, man.
So, well, some more news this week, more good defensive news. Browns re-signed middle linebacker Anthony Walker to another 1-year deal. I think this is important. We've done it. We've addressed a lot of needs on the defensive side of the ball, but linebacker is still a spot that we needed some playmakers. We needed some guys who could be leaders, who can go tackle. And that's what Anthony Walker does. He's a good guy in the locker room. He leads the huddle. He makes the defensive calls. We saw what happened to the defense, an already bad defense, how much worse it got once he went down last year. So I think this is a good signing to bring him back.
Yep, 100% agree, man. I think that was whenever I got the report that he was visiting with like the Commanders and everything, I was like, man, I was really holding out that he was coming back, hopefully. And then he did. So that's awesome.
Thank God the Commanders are just like in disarray.
Yeah, I know.
You don't even know if they're going to have an owner. I don't know what's going on over there. That team is, I'm glad I'm not a Washington Commanders fan.
Coming from Cleveland Browns.
Save it from the Browns.
Wow.
I did see my boy Taylor Heineke though. Where'd he get signed?
He went to Atlanta, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Was it
Atlanta?
He went somewhere. I hope he gets to play. That between him and Minshew and Indy, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, Minshew.
So
Yep.
those are a couple of my guys I like to keep an eye on. So hopefully they get a chance to play this year.
He's Atlanta quarterback.
So before we jump into talking a little bit about Lamar, I'm pretty sure, Josh, you said we have another voicemail.
Yep. This one's from Kenny Mack.
Yo, guys, it's Kenny Mack, and I'm calling about the episode with DF. I couldn't agree with him more. I think you draft 2 receivers, and I think you sign one. Also, I put like a mock, team together that'll kick off the season. In it, I have Jed Wills getting traded for a 3rd-round pick, and I want to pick up Taylor Lewan. I want to get a mean, nasty line, and Wills just isn't there. Some of your thoughts, or give me your thoughts. Cheers.
If you can get Taylor Lewan, then go ahead and trade Jed Wills. But I don't know what Taylor Lewan's looking for. I saw he's got his Bussin' with the Boys podcast. I think he said he wants to play for a contender for sure. I would consider the Browns a contender, at least on paper right now. We'll see. So that would be a big move. Taylor, he doesn't suck.
No, he does not suck. I'm just trying to look up real quick and see what they don't have market value listed for him, but
I don't know what the only reason he got let go from the Titans, I'm pretty sure, is money, so they could save some money. I don't know what kind of contract he's targeting. But he would be good. He would be better than Jed Wills, that's for sure.
Last year he was 14.6 against their cap.
Get a 3rd for Jed Wills?
Oh, you could. He's a starting left tackle. Yes, you could. That might even be underselling it, in my opinion.
That might be.
I know he's
2nd round if you want.
He's got a little bit of a bad rap in Cleveland with some of his effort and stuff like that. But the dude, he was Joe Thomas's favorite tackle coming into the draft for a reason. The guy has talent. You just got to get the hustle to match the talent sometimes. Well, I think a coach would look at that.
I'll start listening to Joe Thomas when he signs Justin's jerseys and pictures.
He hates me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He is not a nice person.
I'm just saying.
I'm just kidding. I love Joe Thomas.
Me too.
I'm just saying. I think a coach would look at his talent and think, I can do something with that. I think you can get a 2nd for Jed Wills. At least I think so.
Just to play devil's advocate with you, if you can't get it out of him with Bill Callahan, is there somebody that you can get it from? You know what I mean? Like,
that thought went through my head too, Justin. I was like, oh.
If you can't get it from that guy, maybe
coaches are egotistical, though. Every coach thinks they got the secret sauce. You know what I mean?
Correct.
So I think you can get a 2nd for him. But no. That would be, in an ideal world, that'd be cool, but I don't know if it happens. They seem to like Chet. I don't know. So, but I want to transition into talking about Lamar. So, I think he's got a rep reaching out to teams saying like, "Hey, come negotiate with me, please." He doesn't have an agent. His mom's his agent. I'm going to cough real quick. I said you guys have to.
I was going to say, I could hear.
No, go ahead. I want to touch on that.
Oh, man.
I got an update on my phone right before you walked in. And it basically, the NFL is saying that anybody who negotiates with this rep that is working for Lamar Jackson, basically any offer sheets or anything are void. They'll be voided. It says that they're just not valid.
I don't understand.
It's wild to me. It's just crazy. It feels criminal.
If you're gonna do that, why wouldn't you just go get an agent?
You're right. If I'm him, I'm like, okay, guys, cool. I'm going to get a damn agent. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
But but then reports are coming out like he's ready to be out of Baltimore, which I think we knew that. I think I said that last year when he was sitting out. He's not. I don't think he ever plays another game in Baltimore. I think he's ready to be gone. I think they're ready for him to be gone. Honestly, they won't say it publicly, but they kind of did when they didn't re-sign him and they let other teams talk to him. I have this theory that he won't get signed before the season. And I think he's going to end up sitting 10 games and becoming a free agent.
Yeah.
And then being able to sign with any team he wants. The Ravens won't be able to match. The team who signs him won't have to give up 2 first-round draft picks. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Lamar sits the first 10 games.
I would prefer that, man. I don't want Baltimore getting any first-round draft picks.
I agree. And because this is what I said earlier. Baltimore they don't have any receivers. J.K. Dobbins is good, especially if he's continuing to get healthy. He started to come on late last year. Mark Andrews is good, but he was quiet last year. If Lamar is such a big part of their offense, and I know they went and got Todd Larkin, but to me, that's, if anything, screams we don't want Lamar anymore. It's
him.
Let's go sign this
air raid guy,
air raid offensive coordinator. That is not Lamar. You're going to not draft Lamar because you thought he was going to sit in the pocket and be Peyton Manning. Like, that's not his strength at all. Even if he has gotten better at throwing since he's come into the league, that is never going to be his strength. So, if anything screams we don't want this guy anymore, it was hiring Todd Lonkin. And I just don't know if they're going to score. I think they'll be in every game this year because their defense is good. And because they have Justin Tucker. So, but man, it's going to be tough for them to score 20, I think.
Are you guys surprised? Because, like, for me, since they came in, like, as the Ravens into the league, they've been, like, almost like, hey, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? They've been, like, one of the better organizations just as far as just everything. Like, I feel like they nail drafts. They do well in free agency. Everything seems good. It seems so dysfunctional.
Well, here's the thing. Growing up, they had years with, like, what was it, Todd Bowler?
Yeah.
Kyle Bowler. They weren't very good then. Like the end of the Jamal Lewis years for them, they weren't very good. And then they won the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis. They had one of the best defenses ever. But then they made a stupid move and let Anquan Bolden go and gave Joe Flacco a ton of money. That almost cost John Harbaugh his job. If you remember, before they made the switch to Lamar mid-season, it was being reported that John Harbaugh and the Ravens were mutually parting ways at the end of the season. Yeah. So this isn't the first time we've seen a little bit of discombobulation within the organization. Now, winning cures all. So they kept winning, so you overlook it. But just a few years ago, John Harbaugh was on his way out, and Lamar Jackson kind of saved him. And so, it's crazy.
I mean, 2 Super Bowl titles will do a lot for keeping you around. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It does wonders. It does wonders for your coaching legacy and your future and safety of your job.
Well, he only had 1 Super Bowl.
Oh, is he? Because it was. Oh God, why can't I think of his name right off the top? No.
Brian Billis.
Brian. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Mike. Yikes. Okay.
Absolutely right. But I think defensively they're going to be very good this year. Mm-hmm. Special teams wise, they'll be awesome. John Harbaugh, good special teams coach. Justin Tucker is the best kicker ever.
Man.
But I just think offensive. We saw how much of a struggle they were this year to score points. It's only going to get worse, in my opinion. And I like Tyler Huntley, but I think he kind of showed last year, like an extended time. I don't know if he's a guy like that you hit your wagon to.
And they're saying they're shopping for a veteran quarterback, just in case things.
Who's left?
Nobody I'd want. Oh, Josh, Cam Newton. He's throwing around. He's getting warmed up. He's throwing it pro day.
There ain't 32 mother effers better than him. Okay,
that's right.
There is. So, but no, I think they can struggle to score some points this year. Like I said earlier in the episode, I think this is the year that the Browns, if they can put it all together, like the division's within grasp, they just got to put it all together.
I think that's fair.
And anything else, fellas?
Nah, man.
Been an exciting 2 weeks of NFL free agency and everything that the Browns are doing. Andrew Berry's just, I love it, man. This has been fun. A lot of fun.
I know. I would talk about it a lot more if every passing minute I didn't get more and more congested.
I know.
So if you guys are wondering why we're wrapping this up so quick, it's because I don't know how many more minutes I have left in me before I just fall out of this chair.
He can't breathe through his nose anymore.
Well, we still have to do our after hours, so we better make sure you save a little stamina for that.
If you guys want to tune in and see if I survived for that episode, pledge your $5 and come check it out.
They watch him pass out.
Yeah. I mean, what better things can you spend $5 on than to watch my big ass fall out of this chair? So it'll be a good time. But we want to thank you guys for being here, checking out this episode, hanging out with us all off season. Again, if you want to get your voicemails about all the moves we've made, what you guys think of them, thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail in the drop-down menu. If you're watching on YouTube, again, don't forget to tap the notification bell. We've been putting out a bunch of content pretty much every single day, so you don't want to miss anything. So make sure you have that tapped. And again, if you want to come watch me follow this chair, potentially join thedawgs.com, become a dog pack member, join our check out the after hours. Once again, we appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you guys tomorrow or next week, depending on when Josh decides to make another episode.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedogspodcast.com.